we really ever thought of that? I mean, let's break down the human being, right? You have a body, you have a soul, you have a spirit. But are you any of these three? You certainly are not your body because you have a body. You certainly are not your spirit because you have a spirit. You certainly are not your soul, or most people don't know, your mind. Anything you have can definitely never be you because you have it, you possess it. In the midst of all these three, you should be somewhere. I think it's time you meet who you really are. That's why I want to invite you to my I Am program that literally introduces you to yourself for the first time. Send me a message today. Let me book you up to the I Am program. I mean, you don't got to be here. We do it online. I can't wait to see you in class. Who are you? Aquaba. Welcome, guys, to Melanated Truth. You know, I promised you that I was going to bring Huno into the house, and he's here. And I'm excited, and you should be excited by now because I've got your questions. Like, you guys sent a lot of questions, and we pray time will permit us to go through all these questions. But I'm excited for this, and I don't want to say much. I'm going to make my brother introduce himself to the whole family, and we take it from there. So he's going. I have the truth that I have videos and a lot of conversations about him that I haven't uploaded yet. But because I told you guys that he was coming around, that's why I decided to skip through all the videos that we have, powerful videos, and then you're going to hear from him. Just a short introduction, but in the videos I have full detail about everything that he's about and his journey and where he's come from so far. You see, Uno, Aquaba. We'll ask you for a little introduction about who you are, what you do, and even your visits to me.
Oh no, like I fiamba ajanada lokyo unko Africa na chu when we can one join ado
Akbar one ado Umba mangwase ya bedu no la gramada eu de com comilo minha viu minha no viu oba me com de com ba no ka don peji higa mele
I'll bring it, don't worry. Let it come.
minha de com labo bia minha obu minha bu de minha na Ghana tu no se na nyamba de com Portugal koko bana wa togwe daglamada along no daglamada.
So you have to say, you have to, because I definitely cannot hear what you said. But just speak up a bit.
all right, English.
English.
Or what he's saying is he's coming from, his name is Toby Ajagaja, and he's coming from Suhum Mangwase. That's where his shrine is, that's where he does everything.
Suhum Mangwase.
Suhum Mangwase. And all what he's doing is trying to portray the culture, what we're missing so far. And for now, it's like everything is being mixed. And you can, if you want to know true culture or identify true culture, is no more. But that's what he's trying to portray. So if something, you can come and he will show you and he will let you know everything about culture and everything that maybe we the black that we are doing. That's what he's doing.
So is it more of culture or spirituality?
He's into spirituality and culture as well, both the two.
So what's the difference between culture and spirituality? I just want to know.
Yeah, culture is something.
Now I know culture,
Yeah.
but when he says culture and spirituality, what does that mean?
Yeah, culture is something that maybe it differs. Those we all have different backgrounds and different identity. With when we talk about culture, we have, when it comes to like Airways, for instance, we have our own culture. When you go to their council, they have their own culture. when you go to other countries, so they have their own culture. So, but for him particularly, he's portraying, let me say, the spirituality, like what is based on the spirit, the culture aspect of it. That's what he's portraying.
Okay, so I was just trying to get the difference between culture and spirituality, because if I know we all know culture to be a way of life of a particular group of people, but spirituality is of course climbing into the third dimension and operating from the third dimension. So I've got your questions here. Like I said, I already have I have what do you call it, a lot of videos, a lot of interviews of him saying a lot of things or teaching a lot of things. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to just go through your questions. Some of the questions I'm seeing that some of the questions I would answer it. Some of the questions I will answer it, but the rest that I can't answer, I would definitely ask him, because I don't want to. Some of the questions I've answered it already in a class, in certain meetings, but the rest that I feel it should be directed to me, I will ask him anyways. If you want to answer it, then we take it from there. So you heard from his mouth, he's here to help our people, to help our people across the face of the earth, to restore our culture, our identity, and not necessarily subjecting yourself to the identities, but actually coming to a space where you literally know who you are and what you're accustomed to, and also our ways, our spiritual ways, the ways that we get things done and all that. I'm talking too much, so I'm not going to say anything. So wait, I have a question from one of our sisters. She's called Bria from the USA, from the US, and she wants to know, why did the God allow our people to be sold in slavery? Why did the God allow our people to be sold in slavery?
Okay. One, you put a character America, US. I think of Nyado Kodudaban Abonchini. About Katai Tokyo, hello, Pato Foju, Tashi, Amunchika, Ola, Nimado. Papa Malo, hello, slave, I am a blogger of Papa Macanasa, Mola, Nima, Hammer, Ha, the Nimanto. Semaikaba, Lekamiata Cham, Yapa, Tokyo, Dr. Yoko, Yalekova, Wapra, Nkata Tokyo, that she would jalo Popo, Fuju, that she would Chikoko. Tu ni mamodo exemple
Toju Kemia Tobio Togbo sanse bai on seda amausa bibia ikemba otro nyanka bobo eke na Togbo sa tama mu pion bazam enyanka Chachi Ibanya Bada Sindunchi Chichiwa na Lelema Boboma Ndekama Dumpuno, Sabana Kake Lelico Ikama Dumpuno Banana Tobu Bobama Kapi Boboraba Dumpuno Adofundo Amboko.
All what he's trying to let you know is, if you are in the spirit and if you worship them in true heart and with faith and with everything, your body and soul, there's nothing that will harm you, and there's nothing like someone will take you into slavery or something. Nothing. It's like those days, those who they be forced into slavery and other things and other hard work and other ways, maybe those that left the things, they refuse to know the truth by then. That's the reason why they are being taken through this process.
So, I mean, this question serves every generation, because basically, like I said, I've answered this question before, but I also want his opinion. Whenever a people turn their back on their God, they would always be vulnerable to anything. So the reason why these whites are actually were able to enslave our fathers is because our fathers, most of them turned their backs to our spirituality. When you study King Leopold's letter, the agenda of these Westerners was to disconnect us and ensure that our people will not have anything to do with our gods. He said that let these people turn their back on their gods, because their gods is what is protecting them, is what is securing them. So long as you can get them to turn their backs, you will get them. So the reason why our fathers were even enslaved is because of such reason. Like he said, if you are connected and if you know who you are and what you must do, there's no way any single individual can enslave you. That's basically what it is. Bria also asked another question. How do we find out which gods are our head? And if we are our head, if we are of the diaspora. So what she's trying to say, that those in the Western world, our brothers and sisters scattered across the diaspora regions, how do they know the gods in their background, the gods they are supposed to honor?
Kapiwanya anya togbu bedodoma etu togbu kwa nko kele so ele ko so la ko fu mo nko family nko nya togbu ko nko nya to nko nyu. C'est par exemple what you be komate lo ko jete wa te amanya nko nyu amako bia ele so le ko agbo to a otu akokoli ese mara le ko gbo to akokoli family ma wa je ngote amoko ta gbo to akokoli we mi opa we ma amoko be ta la po mi oba nko to the family nko to ta la po mi jo mo kaka mi so baraka eno gbo gbo to amara ka won an makoko yu to lem amoko.
Before you can define your real identity, it's based on the name. Based on the name. The name alone can let you know everything. For example, if I'm my name is Eric Samabia. That's my granddad's name. If I traveled whatever across the world, and the moment they mention that name Samabia, you can trace it after. You see, so the name, before you can trace, and the name you can redefine your real identity based on the name. Yeah, if you change your name, then you are lost and you are doomed forever.
So the slave masters knew what they were doing when they changed the names of our brothers and sisters into slave names, right? So now most of them don't have these local names.
Yeah.
Most of them only have these slave names.
Yeah.
So those, let's say one is called Peterson, Joshua Peterson. So if the person has a name like this, how is the person going to be able to identify who his or her gods are? So it's a question like when the person doesn't have any name that connects back to the continent or the motherland, and the person has any strange name, right? This Western name. How can such a person connect to their gods?
Okay, I can come for Madu Uzumoida, you would for Avatro, Machuba, a company, me at the fear, and a quarter Marafia, young Comachuba, young call Eric or Lali Samavia. But the moment you can use Samavia, none like Chikakura, Tiny, a female too. Nakamuyoka maybe about you, Lupton. Maybe David Lupton. That name David Lupton, you vote on Koi, la ko ga fi mama e ka chu David Lepton la ko ga actress ko ga ba ba ikmona tutu ya ta ba ko la ko ga fi anya ko ma ba
la ta ba si be la ta ba nya be to eji me gbogbo ni bi ave jo ma meji eno go mi ato mo no fa American global imanye American mo jo be anya gbogbo atu afi de be Thomas no Malaysia and la porto con no qua la pa fumo.
What he's saying is, so far as you have a mom and a dad, definitely you can trace your roots.
So just having a mother and a father, even if you don't know their name,
You can still trace your roots.
how do you do that?
Like an orgafi, he cover for la shoe, an all shoe. You go unko a drop. The pay to tune to Machiba Cafralo, man of water, a Joe, Togo, maybe Unquanya, Koshi, Gojo, or Koshi Gojo, I never of ma, away from Quanya, and they become like a Martana, but it come to a
You blown a baby war, Trumpia. Yato boom on the matter. We come out. Ta, Namiato bully, Yato Blonne. Nyato blonde be yo to a no so motor feel better nkwa ko lesi e kokolo no bi ke beto trota alo mgbeglo ke mo mgbeglo jojo ina mata wan nkotro amoko ka bon na ato na bi ato ba fika yitu ato fiabo amoko bia bana tronko a anya ato monko e nya matronko ba Moses wa atonya nko a enya kwajo abami sa ma atonya nko Almanya ma atonya nko bami e de ma atonya nko kokoko
what is
ina bo bia nda bubu nya to gbo bia bubu no jio alo jimi la Ghana fia kwa mi to go ma lo nya to jimi la Ghana no mi kula fa mo de ko mo da mi bu mo atu nya to go.
What he's saying is the fault and all the problem is coming from our parents. When they get coming down or tracing their roots, they don't. Normally they try to change everything and their children also copy the words, how they do their things and everything change. And at the end of the day, maybe when the dad and the mom died and everything, so they can't trace their roots again.
But the thing is that those who were taken into slavery, they didn't have a choice. You know, they were taken that they didn't have a choice to say that, okay, their moms, their parents are coming back. They were forced, and they changed, they disconnected them from their backgrounds, and they forced them to not even speak their language. So they lost connection to every single thing that says this continent. So such a person, how does the person connect? Because the mother doesn't know, and the mother doesn't know not because the mother chooses not to know, but because of the situation they find themselves in. How does such a person connect?
Nyaka gomi hala nyamba ko mi oko pro ide ko tuf papa me ko tame ko ide yo da plato mo kada leader ado ye manyo ko long mi ko yi
o siapa
ado ha yo ko pla insan manyo to ko long
la
pasa san yo ko yi mamo yi ado lia ko agba kro do na ha lo teroji yo tru agba no ye o je agba bu do agade halia adu vabu maybe tape ko va la pra tape ko to kra vibe no ko ha akava zuni no de la pi o tv la ko ga fi anya ba afia la le e choni
anya be ina to go we na be na lebu but le mabu no hiom e gbona bopoli hiom malagi mabubi ya Amerika pom ke mala Ghana pia ye waji na kia tono uju ni kama jiga manya kwa bamis na la nya e dekon wa la fi omo la nya dekon Not the combo bubble here, ma. That's your mother.
What he is saying is there are people who like they are completely like they are mixing completely where they've gotten themselves is like there's no like other people or maybe where he is coming from and there's no one over there who can connect them.
You know what Boboli kigam. Ne nga tanto o te buna abe duro di buma. Tanto sa bobo. Boboli be la tasa afiamo. Amoko.
Like I mean, do you know we have this sometimes when you sleep, when you dream, do you know there is a spirit connect to it?
Is that the translation or you?
Yeah, I'm coming, like, I'm trying to explain something here. Do you know there is a connection when you dream sometimes? You don't know anything, like you are naive, you are like total, like off. You don't know like anything, but sometimes if you can steady yourself, well, and you being a little, you can trace it. Even without maybe a dad or mom or maybe any extended, you can trace it.
But can you say the one he said, like? No, like, translate the one he said that there's spirit in the world. That's why in the olden days people don't get lost. So no matter where you are, if you find your spiritual background, you can find your way back to your roots. So like, can you pick that up?
Boboli for nyaka promo la fiaba be yoko koyi yoko apasasa
Kojo.
koyi adoli oyi a munya
Fika yo tuga dogam.
ya pe ko to ko ka fi gara ta fa
Manya.
kanya a tare ko yo fiamba na de no na madi na ko ga fi aka nyeba epa afoto ko aka bo ala ka nyaba because madali ya yo yi a epa kura po ko to kura ha bodu la gani alafma to a VG like the strong TV e bo chantro bu ajivi yento mo bopo kaka me bi avia la viaro o jime over o ko no ko de la ka mo o ga fa nya ba afi yo chui ka aba o ko no ko
Apa? Ele ko ka ba no pore. Ma go me ba. Ika makata aing baji ko somil. Aing baji ki somil. You would the man you aing bala gama. Amoko. No lo fondi. O globo boy la fondi. Ila du gbara ba yibu, ya je ba yibu. Me mi gelo. O won gbogbo to fi na mo mala. A jeju se le ko gbogbo o tro jina meji na. Atajo. Alo kala fon la ko wa te nro ma dara apo mo no fa. Na gbogbo ba sama. Odo a jeju ba na ba ibe eju alama. Amoko bia. Ino gbo na ba na ba amamo buno. Ke da loku. Ni ko me mi adupu mo bia. Na gbogbo le ni ko du ma na me dogo se le Ghana bia. Mi dogo na ko na gbogbo lo mo le yo se ka o se ma jesu no. Ti me ko ya tu a jesu apom. Ale gbogbo le na ma. Gbogbo le na ma la te kudro straight, a te kudro na ma. Wa de fi an lo mo. Gbogbo le na ma. Gbogbo le na ma la te fo nja do gbara. Apo dro mo no gbogbo le na ma afia mo. Gbogbo le na ma.
what he is trying to let you understand or let you know is the spirit still exists and the ghost will still be awakened. No matter where you find yourself, if you fly whatever, still you still land on the bed, on the earth. If you want to know your roots, sometimes it will the spirit can they can feel you. It's maybe in the form of like they will let you know in the form of dream. They'll reveal like things to you in the form of dream where you are coming from. Sometimes to maybe when
So what I'm getting is of course, you gotta understand because of the language barrier. So we're trying to break it down, translate, break it down, translate. So what I'm getting is, so long as you stand on the face of the earth, you can always connect to your roots. You can always, because the spirit is everywhere. The gods are very active. The spirits are everywhere. So once you stand on the earth, you walk on the face of the earth. When you get to a priest who knows what he's doing, he can always use the earth that you walk on to locate which tribe, which house, which family, which energies, which god is behind you. You get how it works. So you might not know the name of your mother, your grandmother, your great-great-grandmother, or you might not even have any African name attached to your name. But so long as you walk on the face of the earth, we can always connect you to which god you are supposed to honor. And one of the things we do as Akan is that we go back to the day you were born. The day you were born, at least, even if you don't know, you don't have any African name, any spiritual name, any ancestral name, all that you need is the day that you are born. So if you are called Kojo, Kwame, Kofi, whatever, these are names that can always connect you to the particular day that you were born. And once they are using that, they can always get you connected to the God that you serve, or the God that you are supposed to be in connection.
Le poudre. C'est pas au gain bien. Le poudre gain. Oh, atiment le poudre. C'est mara. Allo et poudre nous savons. Amako. Ko fi que tout tard le drum là, a fait que ne quoi, fait que tout tard de bini quoi. Ne va quoi, fi ko notero. Fi ko des bini ko no so ko no du gan quoi, no fo agbo. Ko la gra fam.
All he's trying to let you understand is, wherever you are, when you come, there's a spirit that they will use. When he uses it, the spirit will let you dream. In the form of dream, you still locate where you are coming from. Sometimes not the the roots exactly, but maybe will let you. Direct you to maybe one person or another. That person will let you maybe
also direct you to another person
where exactly you are coming from.
So it means that there are energies that when you come around and you mention your name, that energy will visit you in your dreams and start leading you or directing you to where you're supposed to go. And I think there are also energies where they can actually call your crack. Right? They can call your cra and have a conversation with your cra. So your cra will literally tell you also where exactly you're coming from. That's it, right? Right. Okay. So that is for Bria. Bria, Bria, I have another question from you. Once we found out how do we connect to our gods, so once you find out, then basically that energy will tell you what you like, what you don't like, what the gods like, what the gods don't like. Then you start giving some Thanksgiving rituals and some reconnecting rituals that will reconnect you back to those energies, those powers. And also, once you know these things, then you know the certain libations that you have to offer, certain rituals you have to offer, whether it's going to be a monthly basis, a weekly basis, a yearly basis. You know all these things. So once you connect to the God, that one, the rest would follow. The God or the energy will tell you exactly what to do. So I think with that one we are covered with that. So another question from Kwame, Belgium. I was wondering if this is Kwame Bwedi, but I'm hearing this is Kwame from Belgium. My question is about spiritual marriage, especially within a family. For example, your own family member, a mother, father, uncle, marrying you spiritually. I also want to know about the implications of this in one life. So let's say what he wants to. Also, if more that one person can marry you spiritually. So what this person wants to know is that spiritual marriage. Is it possible that your uncle, your father, your mother, your sister can marry you spiritually? If that is the case, what are the implications that would affect that person's life? And also, can multiple people, like multiple energies, marry one person?
Uno,
Ato.
neka eko jiwa na nyaneba kwame jo bejo ipa neka ludo chuko ludo abana don chine a fiamba na bobo mo sonda de ikaba bobo me ka a adromade ko da amade kafra anya no anya fufu anya novio nyonvi anya novio unchuvi no wona na made lucky no ogi afio
Yo, na bobo. Adama. Bobo dama alibu. Bobo Adam. Adoli. Aglamudu. Kabun Raza Boboni. Adirenti. Aglamudu. That's about Bobon of your Mafia. You could down on my matter told you. I want to put you that Bobo. They do not. Tell about Bomala Sua, who material of you. Kaja, who use Bobon.
What he's trying to say is spiritual marriages, we have different types of spiritual marriage. We have different types and steps of different spiritual marriages. When it happens, so you have to use the same spirit to cancel it out.
The same spirit that is marrying you.
The same spirit. You have to visit maybe someone who is also in the spirit, like does such things. He will cancel it for you.
Okay. So now the question is, what are they like? Is it possible that your uncle, your father, your mother can marry you spiritually?
No. Aber alama nyatape but no fufu no view to diao atado le boboma.
Ali.
Yes.
Okay. So if such a thing happens, what implications? What would be the problems that would come upon such person?
No jona na made ukekawe nyamu ka jojogara maji. Nkawe nya amu ka mbagla o kata glon to manji.
Elle ma fiala sebe na bobola mo agbali bu mami toli agetoli dolia bo amala won be yukurun chigun chona dodon ro nyon kurun nyon dodon bobo ma to bia wala basa do manyuni se bobo la mania maji bang na nyuni ta brique mo de siaru ni gaga ate o do ande ma pondo ko alena.
Spiritual marriages, those are some of the what we normally term as the and the maybe man and a man, like in a relationship, a woman and a woman. When it happens, so it destroys everything, because in the spirit, especially when you have to do something like a pertaining spirit don't like something, they don't like it at all. When you engage yourself in such art, there's nothing that will work for you. Your finance will be like rough, your job, like everything will collapse.
Ana amatagbo atoto. Ana malasu atu bata I know you.
And it can even lead to madness and other like diseases that maybe.
So my thing is, so if spirits don't like such things, such things, what I'm talking about, then why does other spirit also marry other people if they don't like it? Because basically what they're saying is that what Huno is saying is that when the spiritual marriage is happening, they are the reasons why people find themselves doing the other things that I can't talk about, right? these other things are the very things that energies don't like. The energy don't like one type of an individual behaving like the other. I'm speaking in quotes, you should know what I'm saying. And the other individual also behaving like the other. So spirit wants you to be me, not be somebody else. And this other person should also be the person. So what literally happens is that once you begin to fall prey to these spiritual marriages, everything concerning your life will literally begin to delay. Right? So my question now is, if the spirits don't like spiritual marriages, then why do some spirits actually go ahead and marry?
Do you know we have people who are the homes they are coming from, the background they are coming from, like things like that. It's like abomination. It's a taboo for the family and the entire maybe the community. But for them themselves, they don't know. For the individual himself, he don't know that maybe the home he's coming from, the background he's coming from, they dislike such a thing. But maybe he or she will engage in such acts. But later, maybe he'll find out that there's a spirit in him or her. Bear with me. We have people who will be like walking to and fro, but there's something inside them that maybe he himself don't know or she herself don't know.
Yeah, I get that, but what I want to understand is spirits don't like for you to be involved in ism and all of those things that I can't really say because of regulations. My question is, why then do spirits marry people, not even the human beings?
Yiba ndalo non gbegbe togbo gbegbe la yiba bara vana ma jire family am ye gbogbota le nya ba on to na crown uji wa ina mete bunu ji ama obi na mata se po ma de gbogbo ka ko ba hiham yo ukpona gbo uweneni ya mo ngbale ina bo mi adu ngbe na cha mi to ji mi a bibi ma we bi na mi ata se ma de nkele ko ba kikema alo gbogbo kele ko ba kikema no nya gbogbo manyu ajo ni gbogbo bara ko aje ban ka aje bo wa gbogbo adoli no sereka ko ngba di na manju.
All what he's trying to let you understand is way back when our forefathers, when they give birth, they go further, consult elders, maybe like someone like Tommy those days, like they consult them and they find out the true identity. You see, sometimes they will give birth and there was something like this guy or this little boy is like his great grandfather. So we are naming the child to something like that. But it's like now there's nothing like that. They give birth and there's no like nothing like search and other things. Everything is raw. But from time to time, definitely, if maybe it's one of your great or your great grandfather that maybe I don't know the actual word to use here, it will definitely worry you. So they have to do something, cancel all those kind of things for you to be free.
If you don't know that it's your great grandfather, it will worry you.
He's saying not exactly that. Sometimes it can be a result of an action of your great grandfather or some of your
But the same time, you know, the same time, I
like a grandfather went for something from a sea or like a water body. He didn't tell you what to do before he died. After he is gone, you people have starved that spirit or whatever he went for. The spirit will find a way to destroy you. So in that case, that spirit will start marrying some of you, and then will lead you to things that will destroy you. That's how can you end up doing something.
Okay, so because the inquiries are not made to understand the crack of that particular person being in existence, that is how come some of these spirits backfires, because it's coming from a lineage, a generation. So when a child is born, if the right inquisitions are not done or the inquiries are not done to know the likes and dislikes, the rituals that needs to be done around this particular child, that is when it ends in, or it results in some of these things that we cannot really say, i.e. the spiritual marriages we are talking about. So basically, spiritual marriage can destroy you as a person in terms of your progress, your development, your finances, your workforce. Whatever you touch can literally be destroyed, because the rituals that has to be done to appease these energies around you are not done. That is why these things do happen. Okay. Kwame has a lot of questions. I'm going to skip some. I don't think time is going to permit us to do a lot. Watson from the US says, what spiritual practice or will provide me the most clarity for the solution to my problem? I think the question you're asking is not complete, right? But what he wants to know is that as a human being, what spiritual practices can you do so that you don't find yourself in problems and troubles all the time?
Ikaba kuhiara makapu akuru pula nkakaru mu alo akuru pula ni all the time o banano ayi tinu abale kontone jimena
boboli atoko bana manjino yo atoro monyu toji ndek madun ko na ma ci basa ni ka jimo la bon ko la ko e we boboli
kuno what he is saying is there's a spirit or there is something that they can or he can do to let a person be free in life, and everything will flow in his life and he will walk freely.
Okay, so that's something he can do. But what if the person is not here?
Kana amama lafia odi lekeno ogi.
Ne mama lafia wa. Bamis agboto ele ko nko no ase. Oyo na mabaka. Abia ono na tugo wana ebude, ono na Ghana wana ebude. Awo o na nlamban. Power ka dogo mi luru agbo ijo do tunji. The female.
As a human, you definitely have it. As you have a name, they can call the soul, and the soul will tell him what he should, what he will do, and he will perform all the sacrifices that he needs to do.
So, Watson, so long as you have a name, all that Huno needs to do is to call your name. Once he calls your name, wherever you are, he can get to you. Once he gets to you, he will do the necessary rituals that needs to be done for you to be totally liberated and for you to be able to do what you must do. Okay, so I have a lot of questions from Kwame, but let me go on. I'll come back to Kwame. I have another question from Pelly from UK. This is from the UK. Why do we forget our past lives when we come here into this dimension?
Biblia ça que Bible ko ko kele no la ma biang bali e que yugo bia ko mi ablu tron le Africa bia chan nyato bu uzang ye Bible ko ko que uzana chan biang bali bia e que yugo on bia ina ba uba mana pro mo nyugo da se konchi mana pro mo nyugo da se ba ma ye to bu azama yi konyu olokopo ga bo bo da se konchi le ko bia tangma ta ta do ma.
What he's saying is that Christianity has changed a lot of things, especially in Africa. Christianity has changed a lot of things. Way back, our forefathers, maybe he is a carpenter. maybe he has something that he normally does that helps him to maybe like be successful. But us now, we like the majority are now involved in majority are Christians now, and they don't use such a thing now. Normally, that's what it is.
Yeah, but the question is, we do not just exist here. We are coming from somewhere, right? Wherever we are coming from, we had a life. There was memory, right? So once we come into this dimension, we as the people, we forget who we are and what we are here to do, right? So the question is, why do we forget who we are when we get into this dimension, when we are born?
Apa? Mata.